All right, Mike, you watching the combine, you seeing all these kids work out. Do you have a general sense of the draft so far? What do you think?
It was obviously apparent, and you guys made a big deal out of how every position group got faster except quarterback, which doesn't even matter.
Right.
But just the speed that some of these guys are moving at, and I kind of they're going into the combine. I'm worried about different position groups and some guys I want to see. And I mean, right off the top, I wanted to see what Jeremiah Love weighed in at, because when I watched his tape this fall, my final evaluation was basically, look, if he's 195 pounds, I've got one view. If he's 210, I got another view. And he came in at 212 pounds, around 436, and had a great workout. So for me and some of my buddies around the league, I think that took away some of that. Is he kind of a third down guy that can't carry a load? Or at 212, I mean, that's legit. And Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson went 8-12 in the same year, and you got to make a decision. Yeah, every franchise, it has a top 10 or 15 pick. Like, is this kid going to help change who we are offensively, just like Gibbs and Bijan Robinson have done? So I kind of felt like that was the first thing I looked for. I wanted to see what the kid weighed in at, so I had a verified weight, and then how he moved at that weight.
Yeah, we talked with Todd McShay earlier, Mike, and we're just noticing that what if there's a draft where the best players are safeties, running backs, and interior linemen or tackles who might be kicked inside? Like, what happens if those are your best players and those are potentially the difference makers, and you've got a top 5, if not a top 10 pick? Do you fire in that direction or not? And I'm wondering what your 2 cents on the subject matter are.
I think it's pretty simple. If a kid's a dynamic player at any position, you take them, especially if it matches up with any type of need. But I mean, you look back. I mean, are you not going to take Zach Martin at 6 or 8 or 10 or whenever he was taken, the big lineman out of Notre Dame because he was a guard? Are you not going to take Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson? Are you not going to take the safety from Baltimore, Hamilton, that went at 14? Or you're not going to take the safety in the Chargers? If he's a difference maker, if he's dynamic, I think you have to take him. End of story.
The end of story. Is Sonny Styles that guy?
I'm a big fan. I'm happy you mentioned him because I didn't even write him down today. But I started watching him in 23 when he was a boundary safety and a dime. And he was this big, good-looking safety, and I'm trying to figure out what he's going to turn into. And what he turned into was this. In 24, they moved him to off-the-ball linebacker, and you could see spurts of being special. However, his instincts were tough because it was a brand-new position, off-the-ball linebacker. He wasn't coming downhill. He wasn't being heavy. That all changed this year. I mean, you saw a combination of an unbelievable set of physical traits combined with a guy that was getting used to playing a new position. I think he's a top 10 pick in any draft. Well, I don't care if it's 2 or 5 or 8. He's really a good football player. That kid I love.
And so we are all assuming Fernando Mendoza goes 1, Mike, and then so the Jets have they're the first on the clock of this. What do you do, right? What do you do when you got edge rushers and you got Sonny Styles sitting there, who can be as special as anybody? What do you do at 2? What do you think?
You've got Sonny Styles. You've got Arvell Reese.
You got Bailey too.
And Bailey's another conversation I want to have in a minute. I'm not quite as high as everybody on Bailey, but Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese. I'm not as high as a lot of people in the safety from Ohio State either. That's one where I go, I don't see him. Caleb Downs I love him as a player, but I don't see him as a dynamic difference maker. So I don't see him as a top 10 pick. Now, that's just my own evaluation. I did 2 years of his tape. But Arvell Reese, I think, is dynamic. I think the off the ball linebacker, Sonny Styles, is dynamic. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Bailey is dynamic. I just think he has to be more consistent. If you're the Jets, Rich, to me, you're not even thinking. You got 2 picks in the first round, and unless you're going to try and move down or up later on that second pick, I just think you're trying to get really good football players with the thought process of hopefully next year you're going to get your quarterback and have an ability to surround them. But yeah, I mean, where do you go if you're the Jets at the quarterback position? Top of the second round, Ty Simpson. Is he the answer you really want there? He's a 1-year starter. And we all know what the history of 1-year starters in the first round has been at that position. I mean, with less than 20 starts, the only guy that ever had any success in the last 20 years is Cam Newton. And the list is like Anthony Richardson, Mitch Trubisky, Dwayne Haskins, Mark Sanchez, Trey Lance, Ryan Tannehill, and Cam Newton with 14 starts is the only guy with an overwhelming physical trait set. He's the only one that became anything good on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets had a choice when they finally flipped Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys about when to ask for the compensation. And it seems like they're putting their eggs in the 2027 basket, Mike. It seems like a lot of teams might have made that decision last year, the Jets being one of them. So that's down the road. And then, interesting. So let me just revisit if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Caleb Downs, you don't think he's a top 10? What did you see on his film, on his tape that you still need to see a little bit more?
No, it's not even that, Rich. And the kid, don't get me wrong.
I know.
He is a hell of a football player.
Right.
Okay. He's a first-round safety. Gotcha. I'm in. I think he's smart. I think he's instinctive. I think he's tough. He tackles. He can play in the box. He can play it free. So he does all these things. I don't see it as many dynamic plays on the ball as you'd like to see from a top 10 safety. And that might be because that Ohio State defense is so freaking gifted.
Right.
So I could very well be wrong here, but I have done a lot of work on him on this whole defense because they're so damn good, so talented. And I'm pounding that. I think he's a first round pick. I just don't think in the top 10 at safety, if you're not turning the ball over or have the potential to get it turned over more often, I'm not sure you go there.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.